Welcome to the Fight Game with Icewater and Puma. And there was a fight this weekend in Wembley, London, in the UK. Better be with a 8-round KO over Andre Yarde. So, what was up with that fight, bro?
Well, you got to think about Artur Beterbiev was fighting the guy in Yarde with a lot of power, and Beterbiev just came out and he looked really good. He looked solid, gave a nice performance. He handled his business, and Yarde comes up and says, I never really got hit by anybody able to, hit me like that. And I got given to him because he really put it down on me. I'm the guy that usually is the guy that's knocking folks out. But I think it shows you that Beterbiev is not just a one-trick pony. He's not a guy that's just everybody is saying he's not fought anybody. But I would love to see him versus Bivol. I'd love to see that fight. But he keeps doing what he's doing and making it happen. Because Yarde, like I said, was supposed to give him a challenge, but he got it done. So watch out for Beterbiev down the line. The way that it's coming out right now, I would not be surprised at him taking up bigger challenges, which we like to see because we want to see some of the better fighters in bouts where they actually are challenged.
Now, a question just popped up in my head about Canelo. Would Canelo want to fight this guy?
Beterbiev, probably not. Beterbiev is a little bit early in his career, like 19 fights, is that correct? Something like that? Mm-hmm. 18, no, 19 fights, something like that too. But Canelo wants what he wants. He wants to fight again with Bivol. That does not sit well with him because the way Bivol was able to beat him. And I don't know if Beterbiev has enough of earning potential to get the fight with Canelo.
Okay. Any other fights that we should be looking forward to or that you saw during our break?
I'll say this. Everything now is upon the potential, right? We're talking about a lot of things could happen. People want to see Spence Crawford. I don't think that's going to happen. And if it is going to happen, it's probably not going to happen at 147 because, things are moving and people are moving. And the one thing about Terence Crawford, you've seen a lot of movement with him, talking to different people. I guess he was hanging out with the Golden Boy with Oscar De La Hoya and Bernard Hopkins, and there was a chance that he could possibly sign with them, and who knows where that goes. But there's so much going on, we'll have to see. But we have the fight coming up. What is it coming up? Is that this weekend with Amanda Serrano?
You have Amanda Serrano against Erica Cruz Hernandez. You have Emmanuel Navarrete versus Liam Wilson on Friday. Also, you have Adam Amiz versus Santos Reyes. You have Wood versus Lara on the 18th. So you got a lot of quality fights coming up.
Yeah, you do. And you just have to watch out for them. But everybody's talking about what may happen and what's going to be close to be happening. Almost a guarantee that we're going to see Plant versus Benavidez in March. Going to be a great fight there. They're finalizing the details, I think, either in April or May, probably April, for Gervonta Davis and Ryan Garcia. People have been calling for that fight for a long time. Also now, Keith Thurman is supposedly going to fight Errol Spence. Looking at that fight coming up in maybe May. One of the negotiations is going around, but they're saying one person stalling now, but people are pushing forward to it with Devin Haney and Mr. Lomachenko. They wanted to see that fight for a long time, so they're trying to get the specifics on that. Again, like we said, it was Plant versus Benavidez in March. Ironically, this surprises me. Tim Zissou was set up to fight Charlo, one of the Charlos. Mm-hmm. And he was going to wait. He's the number one contender, one of the belts. He's going to fight Charlo. But then all of a sudden, you heard somebody say, hey, you need a tune-up, or it's supposed to be a tune-up fight. You need somebody to still work with you? I'll work with you. And lo and behold, was Mr. Tony Harrison. That is a fight I want to see because we know what Tony Harrison is capable of, but Zissou took the fight, which really surprised me because all he had to do was wait on Charlo. But instead, he said, no, I want to fight. And I want to see if he's going to be able to deal with this and handle it because Tony Harrison is no slouch. He wants that Charlo fight. He wants the trilogy to happen for Charlo. And the fact that Tony Harrison is going all the way over to Australia to fight says a lot. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, and that's happening on Sunday, March 12th of this year. It should be an interesting fight in Australia. I'm always leery of fighters going over to Australia. I know Devin Haney went over there to fight, I believe, and won twice over there. So it's always kind of kind of interesting that fighters go over to Australia to get either championships or fight top contenders. Here's a fight that a fighter that I was wondering about, Isaac Dogbe, and he was a promising fighter for me out of Ghana, and I believe out of Ghana, and then he kind of fell off and lost a couple of bouts. And then where do you assess his career is right now? Because he's going to be fighting Ramirez on April Fool's Day, on April 1st.
Wow. Isaac Dogbe, interesting. Started out surprising a lot of people. Really game. Stepped up, won a big fight. But I think what happened is the factor that he's small in stature, and I think they tried to move him up in weight too fast. And what we found out was he's a very talented fighter, but when you put him in there with some other people, either something's still missing, he still needs some development, or they try to move him up in weight too fast. And what he comes to find out is that, hey, it's not so easy on this level. I might have to go back down. Maybe I think in the smaller weights, he'd be more dangerous. And I think that plays away. And he, like you said, you saw him, he was dynamite. He's real busy. In a way, it kind of reminded me of a glimpse of Aaron Pryor, the way he was so busy and always in people's faces. But again, if that's your whole style, one-trick ponies, because the time that I did see him get beat, there was always a fighter that was more of a boxer puncher. They're able to slip the punches if them coming straight ahead and slide around and then catch it. Boom, boom, boom. And then eventually that wears on you. So with that being said, this style is so just straightforward. And once somebody understands and learns about it, I think he has still great potential, but I still think there's some things he's going to have to learn. One is patience. He's going to have to learn how to deal with certain things in the ring and learn how to counteract things of that nature. I think even to the point when you watch a guy like Devin Haney that everybody thought was going to dominate his last fight. He went 12 rounds. I've heard every excuse as to why the guy was running from him and things like that. But I think it shows you that he still needs to be developed to a point. I mean, as far as his potential is out, it's off the roof. It's really amazing. But at the same time, you're talking about facing the top dogs at a certain weight and welterweight. I think you need work. I really do. And nobody ever admit to that. But I think we were shown that because you're so dominating, you were able to catch this guy, even though he's a crafty veteran.
Another fight that I know is coming up, Adrian Broner versus Michael Williams Jr. And I know we're going to talk about this. I think it's happening at the end of this month. I know we're going to talk about this before the fight actually happens. But I'm looking at Adrian Broner with 34 wins, 4 losses versus Michael Williams with 20 wins and 1 loss. Of course, Broner has more knockouts, has a draw under his belt. And I didn't realize that the reach and the height difference between Michael Williams, where Williams has the height and the reach advantage over Broner. How do you think, just kind of touching on, how do you think Broner would really kind of fare in this particular fight with Michael Williams having that advantage over?
Well, I think again always comes down to which Adrian Broner shows up. We've been waiting on the real Adrian Broner, the guy that fights and the guy that's crafty, the guy that can slick, has nice punching power, can move around a lot in the ring, and just was a technician of the game. We haven't seen him in a while. So, I mean, it's about the money. And if I just hope for these last couple of fights that he's talking about fighting, we get to see that guy. If he does that, he's going to be slipping punches, coming around, moving, and he's going to catch him with some jabs, and he's going to try to drop him with a couple of right hands. The thing I think is really sad is I'm impressed by Williams' record, but there were supposed to be some other fighters above him that were supposed to be tougher, and I wanted to see Broner against them. Not saying he can't. This guy's not good at all, but Broner's been there with classy champions. And again, it depends on which Adrian Broner shows up. The one we know, or the other guy that it doesn't seem like he's letting his hands go. If the right guy shows up, the right Adrian Broner, I think he can set the tone, because I think his biggest issue has always been lack of discipline, not taking stuff seriously, but also the fact that he should have went to 147 for maybe a couple of fights. It didn't work. Come back down to 140, because that's where he's most dangerous.
All right. Any other fights that we need to look out for? Because I know I'm looking forward to the April 8th bout with Keyshawn Davis. He's becoming like one of my favorite fighters that we saw last year. Any other fights that we need to look out for coming up?
Well, right now we're still just trying to find out too, when is Shakur Stevenson going to fight. I think we need to keep an eye on that. But it sounds like everything is kind of moving forward for other fights. So stay tuned. But I really want to see Gervonta Davis and Ryan Garcia. There's a lot of chirping, a lot of talking about other things too, where people know the potential for the fights. But again, you want to see a fight, Plant versus Benavidez coming up. Again, Tim Tszyu versus Tony Harrison. Going to give you a lot of action there. And this weekend, one of my favorite fighters, men or women, Amanda Soriano. Check her out. She's a real classy lady and a hell of a fighter.
And I believe that Stevenson fight, they're still trying to finalize it with Yashono.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're still trying to finalize it. Hopefully they'll get that, and we'll be able to report on that.
And hopefully, if we get it, sound like they're getting close. Tyson Fury. Yeah. Yeah, I like to see that. Tyson Fury. It's time.
All right. He's Icewater. I'm Puma, and this is the Fight Game.